Senator Ron Wyden joining me here in studio for the 5 on 5. Senator, thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me again.
Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announced today the U.S. Postal Service will be suspending any policy or operational changes until after the November election. I know this was a big concern of yours. What's your reaction?
I just heard about this, but it sounds to me like he is responding to the grassroots tidal wave of concern about all these ideas that would really bulldoze the Postal Service. That's certainly been the concern in Oregon. I'm going to continue to be very vigilant. Donald Trump has made it very clear that he thinks, even in a pandemic, that voting by mail, which we've done in Oregon, it's been bipartisan for years, isn't a good idea, and we're going to have to be vigilant.
Congress couldn't find a middle ground to extend expanded unemployment before the August recess. Meanwhile, people, of course, are still struggling. How does this end?
It's so important to get this right because so many Oregonians still haven't gotten their unemployment. I wrote the $600 additional funds per week back in the original CARES package. I want to make sure that Oregonians get that money, and then I don't want the Trump administration to add a lot of red tape and bureaucracy with their new approach, which suggests that for a few weeks somehow Oregonians would get money from the Federal Emergency Management Program that's supposed to go for hurricanes. I want Oregonians to get checks so they can make rent and pay for groceries.
It's been a week since Joe Biden announced California Senator Kamala Harris will be his choice for VP. What kind of woman is she?
I think she'll be a terrific vice president. I'm also glad that we could have 3 new Western Democratic senators and give us a chance to get some new priorities for our part of the country.
A very different virtual Democratic National Convention began last night. What were your impressions?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's obviously very different, and certainly Michelle Obama is just in a league of her own. She was inspiring.
Former Ohio Governor Republican Kasich spoke last night at the DNC. Do you think he should have been involved?
The fact that we had such a show of bipartisanship was a real plus, and I think, again, it reflects a hunger and an appetite in this country for common sense government, and that's what we heard people calling for last night.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Senator Ron Wyden joining us here in studio. Senator, you announced that the Klamath Falls community will receive $3 million in federal funds to build an apprenticeship and industrial trade center. What will this mean for the community?
This is going to be a huge plus for the community. The fact is that COVID-19 has hit the community like a wrecking ball. Some of our small businesses aren't coming back. This is going to give folks a chance to get the training, get the expertise in the trades that can give them an opportunity to get good paying jobs in the future.
You plan to introduce legislation in September to strengthen the rights of landowners facing eminent domain claims from private companies like the Jordan Cove Pipeline project. What will this change?
What this will do is ensure that landowners in southern Oregon won't have their property rights trampled on. Again and again, the company that has been involved in this whole effort to build Jordan Cove has promised that eminent domain would not be part of their efforts, and too often we've seen them look at eminent domain as a strategy that would be acceptable. It isn't. Our bills stop it cold.
Should schools be opening nationally to in-person classes right now?
We all want Oregon and our country to be open to the greatest extent possible, but it's got to be safe. And to me, you know, what we've seen like in the NBA bubble, there's a way to really make sure people are going to be safe when they're pursuing professional sports. Let's make sure the kids are safe too.
Should there be a national benchmark for whether schools should be opening, or should that be done state by state?
To a great extent, I think there's got to be a strong role for the states. Oregon has done a good job in terms of holding infections and deaths down. I want to make sure that any approach has a strong role for the states.
We've certainly seen some changes in Portland this month. Should Oregon be doing more to quell the violence there?
Now that Trump's federal agents are gone, I think we do have a chance to make sure that peaceful protest is not only acceptable, it's what the First Amendment's all about. But if somebody is violent, if they're anarchists, we have to have a clear message that violence in any way, shape, or form is unacceptable, and that's period, full stop.
We're getting a lot in. I have one more for you. The census was cut short. I know you're not a fan of that, but how will this affect Oregon moving forward?
Well, we've always said in this country, and it wasn't about Democrats or Republicans, that every person has to be counted. If you don't have every person counted, that's not really the inclusive Oregon that we've always thought was a priority. So I'm going to insist that we have, whether it's additional time or other steps, to the opportunity to make sure that everybody is counted.
Senator, I think we got more than 10 questions in. That's got to be a record. Thanks very much.
How many turns do we have for that?
We'll be right back.